So has the poverty line come to 140,000 per year for a family of four to survive? Let's talk about it. So there was recently a blog post put out by a gentleman by the name of Michael Green. He's a strategist for the company. It's called Simplify Asset Management. He's a portfolio manager and chief strategist. And he was talking about how the middle class America has a new poverty line of $140,000 a year to survive for a family of four. And it's been getting a lot of attention. So what I found really interesting is the government doesn't agree with this. So the federal poverty level set by the Department of Health and Human Services is actually $32,150. That's a big jump going to $140,000. And the median income in the United States for 2024 was $83,730. So how do all of these Americans that are making a lot less than $140,000, how do they survive? So Mr. Green made some very good arguments as far as prices going up, inflation. He's quoted, what you would need to survive if you had two children with two incomes, both parents working, the price of childcare, housing, food, transportation, healthcare, and all kinds of other essentials. And so I wanted to go through today and just take a few minutes and break down how we can survive under $140,000 a year and not feel so much like we're at the poverty level. So step one in what I feel is a way to live below $140,000 a year and not feel like you're in poverty is to spend your money strategically, not cheaply. So obviously we all have needs. If you have a family especially, you're going to have childcare, you're going to have housing, you're going to have food, you're going to have all kinds of other expenses. That's true. But how do millions of people get through this? Well, first of all, they don't just spend a ton of money on all these different options. I think this Mr. Green didn't really take into account the different types of options that people can put in place to save money and budget for the things they really need. So he gave a price for housing of $23,267. So, obviously that's about $2,000 a month just for housing. And whether or not you own or rent, there's a lot of options to help save money on housing. I mean, you can look kind of out of the area that you normally would look in. You could rent versus buying. You can look for options like ADUs, the, accessory dwelling units. Sometimes people fix up, places in the back of their houses and they rent them out inexpensively. I mean, there's a whole group of people that are living in motorhomes right now. It's actually become quite popular. And there's a lot of other options. Sometimes people join families together and split the rent that way. And I think thinking outside the box, rather than things that, okay, $2,000 is just going to be the monthly fee for housing. I mean, the housing in New York is probably going to cost a lot different than the housing in Kansas. There's a lot of things to consider when you're looking at housing and ways to bring down those costs. Millions of Americans do that. So step 3 is food and groceries. Now he allotted for food $14,717 every single year for food and groceries. Now I'll tell you what, that is a lot of money. That is over $1,000 a month as far as spending money on groceries. There are so many ways to save money on groceries, and yes, I agree. The prices are exorbitant, they're expensive, but I've got a whole playlist of ways to save money on groceries. I hope you'll check it out. If you're finding that food insecurity is a problem or you're not being able to make things go from month to month, these are some of the strategies that I personally use and I talk to other people about all the time. So the first is, I mean, there's weekly meal planning. I mean, that's a big thing. If you plan out what you're going to be cooking and then you go shopping with your list, with your meal plan, I guarantee you are going to save money. Not getting so much of the prepared food, taking the time to prepare your own food, that's going to save you a lot of money. The cashback apps, I mean, there's so many apps on the phone that tell you where the sales are, what are good deals on food, money back just for taking pictures of your receipts, so many things. Another good idea is using your slow cooker. I mean, if you're working all day, there's all kinds of things you can make in the crock pot. And I use mine all the time. And it's a great way to cook and prep and freeze for other days. I usually cook for a couple of dinners at once. I eat for one night, I'll prepare it for another, and then I have food. I can just pull it out of the freezer and I'm ready to go. Another big one is reducing takeout by 1 to 2 meals a week and going out to eat for lunch and that kind of thing. Taking your lunch to work, eating lunch at home. I mean, all these things are going to save significant amounts of money. And I'll tell you what, there's grocery stores now that you can go to that really are less expensive. If you live in the Pacific Northwest area, Washington, Idaho, California, Oregon, any of those, there's a Winco. They have a lot of good bulk shopping for rice and staples and things like that. There's Aldi is in most states now. They don't offer a lot of the name brands, but what they have is really good quality and very inexpensive. So those are some of the things to cut down the grocery bill. And I'm looking at a savings between $300 to $500 a month by doing some of those things. And as an added thing, if you really are struggling to make your grocery bill to feed your family of 4, there are also different kinds of services in your community that help churches, food banks, things like that, that you may be able to take advantage of. So, I'm going to take food off the list altogether, because if you do those things, you are going to save significantly on food. So number 4 on my list is transportation. So there's some big things that you can do to help cut the cost of transportation. And first of all, if you're driving to work, if there's any way you can carpool or take advantage of things like that, that can save you money on transportation. But the biggest way that you are going to save money on transportation is driving a reliable used car. My suggestion is 2 nice, reliable used cars. Get rid of those big car payments. That's going to cut your transportation bill down immediately. And I'll tell you what, my husband and I have driven used cars that have been paid off for years. I still have a Prius C that I have driven since 2014. It's going to be 2026 next month, and my car still runs great. I service it. It gets amazing gas mileage, 53 miles to the gallon. So I had it paid off really quickly. I bought it used. It's a 2012. And I save on gas. I save on maintenance. I've had, just very minimal work that I've had to do to the car. And it's been reliable transportation for me. So look into that. If you really have to, you can consider refinancing auto loans at a lower rate, get a lower payment. That wouldn't be my first suggestion. I would probably sell something and try to pay cash for something so you can get rid of the payment altogether, but that is an option. Again, you can maintain the vehicle you have, make sure to service it, do what you need to do so that your used vehicle continues working. And, things like that are going to save tremendously on transportation. We're talking $250 to $400 a month on transportation. So now we get down to the big one, step 5. If you have 2 parents that need to work and you need childcare, that's a big cost. Childcare is through the roof, but there are options. If your children are in school, You can always look into after school programs that are offered through the elementary and junior high classes. I don't know so much about the high school, but up until you get into high school, my kids always went to after school programs, and in junior high, they didn't cost anything. And what was great is that they both had straight A's on the honor roll because it was, you know, they had tutors there helping with the homework, and then they'd have kind of an organized play out on the playground. So that worked out really well. There's shared costs. You can trade daycare days. Oftentimes grandparents can help out. I'm a grandparent that watches my 3 grandchildren 3 days a week while my daughter-in-law goes to work. And sometimes more, sometimes less, but for the most part, I pretty much have them every day and do help out with the childcare. I'm retired. I love to spend the time with them, so it's a win-win for all of us. Sometimes employer benefits or subsidized daycare programs can be an option for you, and I would definitely look to your employer, find out if you do have any daycare employer benefits. A lot of times now they offer different kinds of things for parents who are staying home for, after they have a child. They give you time off. It's, just so many things that are available. And another thing, if possible, is sometimes staggering parent schedules. So if one parent's working, maybe the other watches them. Maybe looking into jobs that are a little bit more flexible as far as time, where you can cut down on the childcare costs. And childcare, if you can implement some of those things, maybe all of them, you can save between $400 to $1,200 a month on childcare. That's a big savings. Step 6 is another big one, and that's healthcare and insurance. So there's a lot of things you can do with that as well. I mean, oftentimes, rather than running to the emergency room for something, sometimes, at least in my area, we have an urgent care that has x-rays, they have all kinds of things. And unless it's something really urgent, I mean, if you need to go to the hospital, go. But oftentimes an urgent care can really take care of what you need. And if you need to go to the hospital, they can send you on your way from there. Sometimes employers offer HSA or FSA programs, and these might offer some additional benefits as far as saving money on your insurance. Open enrollment comes every single year, and oftentimes you look at the different programs that your employer offers. You may be able to get your insurance at a lower rate. You also might be able to look at outside insurance, might actually be cheaper. So those are some options. Of course, preventative always helps before something big comes along. So insurance is another big one. But again, if you could really plan, work, try to do your best with it, you should be able to save some money. Step 7 is kind of in that other category: subscriptions, bills, lifestyle leaks, things like that. I mean, cancel unused subscriptions. There's so many people paying for things that they don't use. It's just crazy out there. And there's all kinds of ways to cut on those types of costs. I mean, if you have your cell phone or your energy bills, all these different things, contact your energy company. See if there's a way that they can, move the payment over 12 months, or, perhaps they've got a program that you're not aware of. Shop your cell phone carrier. Don't go with the most expensive one because you've used it for 10 years. I mean, there's some out there that are very inexpensive and still very good. They offer a lot of the same types of things. If you have different kinds of wireless networks, Netflix, all that kind of stuff, there's a lot of free stuff out there now as well. So check into all these things, see what you can cut out and cut back on. You might be surprised how much money's going out the back door from things you're not even using. So to conclude today, there are a lot of ways that you can save. I don't believe that $140,000 a year is poverty line. I just don't buy it. And There's a lot of things you can do to make sure that you're living a nice, comfortable life on less than $140,000 a year. And, if you are looking at housing and food, transportation, childcare, all those different things, you could be saving an average of $1,500 to $3,500 a month just doing some of the things that we talked about. That's going to put you at anywhere between $21,000 to $42,000 less than that $100,000 bill. So other Americans are doing it. I know we can all work on things, and I just want to wish you luck. If you like this type of content as far as a video, please consider liking, subscribing, or give me a thumbs up, a comment. I really appreciate it. So good luck to you. I hope some of these ideas help you, and good luck with your spending and your savings.